There is something everybody knows, no matter where they lived or when they lived. There is something everybody knows, no matter where they live or when they lived. And what they know is that something is wrong with the world. The world is not the way it's supposed to be. Now, I put it that way very purposefully, okay? On the one hand, I am identifying the universality of awareness that there is a brokenness or a problem, and that awareness, that universality, is expressed when people bring up the problem of evil. You do not have to persuade people that there's evil in the world. Everybody knows it, okay? That's the first thing I want you to get from the way I just expressed it. The second thing is I gave a characterization of what evil is. And I actually got this from Doug Geivett many, many, many years ago, but I just picked up a book somebody sent me. It looked like it was a really good book, and it was endorsed by John Piper. And I noticed that they had cited me in it, along with a whole bunch of other people. And I looked up the citation, and this was it. As Greg Koukl says, evil is when the world is not the way it's supposed to be. But I got that from somebody else, so I'm just saying. So, Doug, thank you for that. And he got it from somebody else, too, probably. But I think it's a good way of characterizing it, because that's the sense people have. Things are not the way they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be different. They're supposed to be one way, and they're a different way, and that different way is what's wrong with the world. That ain't right. Danny Glover said a number of times in that wonderful movie, Silverado. That ain't right. And that's the way people talk when they see things that ain't right. They don't have to be convinced that there is wrong in the world, but if there is wrong in the world such that we can complain about the problem of evil, that is evil out there, then relativism must be false. Notice I said evil out there because that's the complaint. Evil in the world. And if you listen to the last show, you know that I was talking to Dan from Pennsylvania. I think it was Dan. The non-Christian who we've had discussions about morality before. There is that inside-outside distinction that helps to characterize the difference between relativistic subjectivism and non-relativistic objectivism. When the morality is inside the person, and that's what makes it true, that's the person believes it, that's all that he needs. It's true for me. That's relativism. When it's true in virtue of something outside of the subject, the individual, regardless of what that individual thinks about it, well, that's then objective morality. And when we say, why is there so much evil? Why does God allow so much evil in the world? Notice they're pointing outside with their words. In the world. And when it's in the world, that means evil is a feature of the objective world. That's objective morality. So simply put, I love the problem of evil because it demonstrates, first of all, that relativism is false and everybody knows it, even if they have not connected the dots. It's false because everybody knows something's wrong with the world. It's not just that everybody knows that they feel something's wrong with the world, but other people may not feel that, locating the wrongness within them. They think the problem is out there. Well, it is out there. It's an objective feature of the world. That means morality is objective. It is not subjective. It is not relativistic. So every time, so this is one of the applications then. Here's why I like this. The problem of evil is hands down irrefutable evidence that the people who raised the problem of evil, I'm being very careful how I put this, deeply believe that morality is objective, even if sometimes they deny it. or else they would not be raising the question about the problem of evil. Now, the reason I think they raise the question is because there really is evil in the world, and we know it. And we know it intuitively. We have the machinery that allows us to perceive this. Just like our eyes allow us to see what's around us that's lit up, and we can distinguish colors. We have a perceptive quality with our eyes. We also have a perceptive function with our souls, the eyes of our souls, to see immorality, see bad. We can see it. That's what we even use the language. Don't you see that's wrong? Can't you see that? The way you treated that person, that's wrong. Why do we use that language? Because there is a perception, and we all have it. Why we have that? That's a good question. I got an answer. We're made in the image of God. Okay, that's the inside-out tactic if you've read the new book, or I should say the new edition, the 10th anniversary edition of Tactics. It's built in. It's part of us. God put it in there. So we have, just like God gave us our sight, so we have the faculty to see. Now, some people don't see that, and that's because something's broken, sociopath or whatever. Just like some people are physically blind. Their eyes aren't working the way God intended them to work, and some people have their souls aren't working the way God intended them to work, so they don't see the morality. But just because some people can't see it doesn't mean I should be confident of not seeing that some things are wrong. All right. So if there is a problem of evil, there can only be a problem of evil if there is evil in the world, and the evil in the world means that it's not subjective, it's objective. So the problem of evil all by itself, before you even talk about the relationship of the problem of evil to Christianity, already nullifies relativism. It's out of play. Now, how can you fix that, relativist? Okay, there's only one way. You got to deny the problem of evil. Okay, good luck with that. How's that working out? Evil's all around us, and you got to say it's an illusion? All right. You're welcome to that if that satisfies you. You're not skeptical enough if you're a skeptic, the way I often put it. All right. So now relativism, the problem of evil shows that relativism is false. That's huge. Okay. But if relativism is false, some form of objectivism is true. Now, that's just another way of saying that relativism is false, right? So it doesn't even follow. It's the same thing looked at from another angle. But if objectivism is true, that means there are moral laws that apply to each and every one of us. And then another thing becomes obvious, and that is that there are moral laws that apply to us, and we don't keep them. Oops. That's not good news. Because there's another thing that's going on inside of us, and that is we know we ought to keep them, and we have the sneaking suspicion that there are consequences because we haven't kept them. That is the dread regarding our immoral behavior that we call guilt. And when I say guilt, I'm talking right now about the existential feeling of guilt. But the reason we feel guilty is because we are guilty. We know we've broken the objective law. It's obvious. Everybody knows that, okay? Now, the only way around it is saying there is no objective law, but now you're back to the problem of saying there's no evil in the world. And I'm not a contributor to the evil in the world by doing bad things because there is no evil in the world. And now you're back to nonsense. Everybody knows differently. All right? So see how the progress we're making. And we haven't even answered the problem of evil. Here's another thing I like about the problem of evil. It is not a religious problem. No. People say, oh, yes, it is. You Christians say God is good and he's powerful. Yeah, oh, well, it is a problem for religious people, but not because they're religious. It's a problem because they're people. This is not a religious problem. It is a human problem. And what I mean by that is everybody who countenances the universe and realizes that the world is not the way it's supposed to be, something's wrong with the world, they have to explain why. What is it? What does that mean that something's wrong with the world, and why is something wrong? Now, Christians have their answer, God and man, and man rebelling and man breaking the world. Okay. But if there is no God, then there is no man rebelling, so man didn't break the world. So that argument or that explanation for an atheist isn't going to work. All right, I get it. You don't believe in God? Fine. Okay, that's off the table. Guess what's not off the table? The problem of evil. You still got the problem. It's still sitting there staring you in the face. It's the one you've been complaining about. Something's wrong with the world. Things are not the way they're supposed to be. Wait a minute. How can they not be the way they're supposed to be unless there is a way they're supposed to be? And how can there be a way they're supposed to be without a sposer? Get it? And you just got rid of the sposer. No God. So if there's no God sposing, then there's no way the world's supposed to be. And if there is no way this world is supposed to be, then it can't not be the way it's supposed to be. Therefore, it can't be bad, can't be evil, and once again, the problem of evil evaporates. So, this puts the onus upon the atheist now who raises the problem of evil to explain, given their worldview of probably materialism, how you can make sense of good and evil with no laws, and because there's no lawmaker. Okay, how are you going to do that? I only know of one attempt. It's called moral Platonism, but there's problems with it, real obvious problems. That's not going to solve the problem. I don't know any way out of this. And I talked to Dan last segment. I think he's an atheist, yeah, but he's a moral objectivist. He's trying to find a way to ground morality. I'm glad that we both agree that morality is objective, and he would have to, I didn't ask him about this, but I'm sure if he's honest with himself, he doesn't have to answer to me, but he's going to say, yeah, and I don't do what I'm supposed to do. There are things I'm supposed to do I don't do, so I'm guilty. Okay, now what? What are the means of dealing with personal guilt that atheism provides? I'll tell you what, atheism can't even make sense of personal guilt because it can't ground morality. Now, Dan's working on that, and maybe he'll come up with something clever, and we can talk about it. But I don't think it's going to work. I've been, this isn't my first rodeo, as some guys have said. Been around that track before. Not going to work. Okay? So notice all the traction that we can get as Christians making our case, even though with using arguably the most perennial challenge against theism, the problem of evil. It turns out, in my view, to be one of the best arguments for the existence of God, not against it. And notice I have not even done any theodicy. And a theodicy is an attempt to explain how there is not a contradiction between the power and goodness of God and the presence of evil. It's meant to explain how those can exist. Actually, it turns out there is no inherent contradiction, and no one has been able to show that. This is why philosophers have largely abandoned what's called the deductive problem of evil. It's not a contradiction. All right. But even without trying to explain it, give a rationale, free will, defense, or however one might go about trying to make this all work, there's got to be some solution because there can't even be evil without God as a grounding for evil. And by the way, God has got to be good. And if God is not good, then there can't be any standard that is transcendent, that is strong enough to ground the problem of evil. If there is a problem of evil, there's got to be good, and God has got to ground that good. And he can only ground it by being good, being the standard himself. And that's another discussion. But what I like you to see is just how useful this whole enterprise is. And when Richard Dawkins, this whole enterprise of understanding how the problem of evil works for us. It's classically called the moral argument for the existence of God. It can be spoken very simply, laid out. If there is no God, there is no objective morality. But there is objective morality, therefore there is a God. How do we know there is objective morality? Because of the problem of evil. I mean, that's a no-brainer. That's a gimme right there. That's second premise. And so using what modus tollens or whatever the technique or the formal logic name for what I did, you can demonstrate that that's a powerful argument for the existence of God.